Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon Podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon Podcast. For years, Bitcoin has been treated like an investment, something to buy, hold, and hopefully sell higher. But quietly, that's starting to change. Right now in South Africa, you can walk into a grocery store, scan a QR code, and pay with Bitcoin. No selling, no bank transfer, no friction. So the question is no longer what is Bitcoin, it's can you actually use it in the real world? My guest today is Ben Blaine from MoneyBadger. Welcome to the pod.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So MoneyBadger is the brainchild of, I believe, the founders or some of the founders of Luno and what's the other one? SnapScan?
So I was on the founding team of SnapScan, which is a mobile payments app.
Big fan of SnapScan. I think I was one of the first adopters or the early adopters. It was just this weird thing about I don't have to carry my card with me. I think a lot of the technology we have today, people sort of take for granted or, it's always been like that. No, it was very different.
Yeah. Do you remember where you first used it?
Coffee. Use it for coffee. It was like a Sunday morning and it was like someone just had this little thing display with a QR code and I said, where do I tap? And they go, no, it must have been some hippie fest, to be quite honest. Somewhere in Joburg or Cape Town or whatever.
Possibly, possibly Rocking the Daisies or Coffee Works.
No idea. But anyways, and then they said, where do I tap? And they go, no, you don't tap. You use this thing. So now, so there's a little bit of a barrier because they already gave me the product. So then it becomes easy. So I either have to give the coffee back or I have to go through this process because I always say to people, the more barriers you put into me distancing myself with my money, the harder your business becomes. But now I have coffee. I'm generally in a good mood. Okay, let's download this QR code thingy, register. And I'm like, okay, cool. And from that moment, it just became, scan, pay. Yeah. Awesome.
Well, it's cool to hear your story. I was getting out there with the first coffee shop, testing it out with them, and then onboarding the first 10 or so coffee shops. Mm-hmm. And we were doing like car wash places and lunch places, and we had all these ideas like, if you're at a restaurant, you can just kind of scan and pay without asking for the card machine. It'll be awesome. But where we really saw adoption was at the coffee stores, specifically the ones that didn't have card machines at the time and couldn't get card machines.
Yes.
So they could sign up in 5 minutes and they could literally print out this QR code and suddenly they can accept card payments.
And then sort of Yoko came around, I suppose, but basically disrupted that business a bit.
Yeah, so Yoko and specifically being able to load your card into Apple Pay and into Google Pay. And Samsung Pay and just being able to tap your phone. Definitely has eaten a lot of the market share for the QR payments. But QR payments are still really great when you're shopping online. So instead of entering your card details and first of all having to trust the merchant and second of all having to do all that manual process, now that there are, I think there's over 500,000 people that have SnapScan.
Jeez.
They can see, it just accepts SnapScan. Cool. Select SnapScan, QR code scan, payment completes, and you're not putting your card.
But so we're not here today to talk about SnapScan and QR codes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Time to talk about Bitcoin, which is, I saw your post this week about how you guys activated, I think something like 500 Shell service stations while they are still branded Shell, and there's engine service stations and whatever. And that's always been the sort of the argument is like, okay, cool, if you've got Bitcoin, but what can you... I lost you. And you're back.
Hi. I just got a phone call. Let me just try to put my phone on.
Don't worry. This is a very organic pod. We just roll with it. Shit happens. Life happens. Cool. Okay, so So what I was saying is, you always, what can I buy with it? I can't go and spend it. And then I'm like, okay, so you guys are now activating all these types of places where I can actually spend my Bitcoin. So it's not only accumulating and maybe trying to make a profit. It's actually a system where I use something else for payment, which is not the South African rand. How does that work? Okay, take me through it. I've got Bitcoin in my wallet, but now I want to go and buy bread, for example. How does that work?
Yeah. Okay, so if you want to buy bread, it's pretty simple. You use a Bitcoin Lightning wallet. You can download Blink, you can download Aqua, Layers. There's many different Bitcoin Lightning wallets.
Okay.
It takes 2 minutes to download. There's no KYC when you're setting up these things. You deposit Bitcoin into this wallet, and then you can go and shop with it. So you walk into Pick and Pay, you take bread, you go to the counter, you say, I'd like to scan to pay. They generate a QR code on the card machine, you scan, it loads the payment into your Bitcoin wallet. It gives you an exchange rate, and it says you're going to be charged this much Bitcoin, and you accept the payment, and it goes through on their card terminal. And it just the slip prints out on their end, you take your bread. So they have no idea necessarily that you're paying with Bitcoin. They just know that you're paying with scan to pay, basically. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. How does
So we just use the existing scan to pay technology at Pick and Pay.
How much of that was ported from SnapScan, or not ported, but sort of lessons learned, maybe? Infrastructure?
So the original, Carl from Vake, who was one of the founders of Luno, and Carl Kritzinger essentially started the project. They were approached by one of the innovation executives at Pick and Pay to ask, as like a question, is it possible to pay with Bitcoin in a retail environment? And there was a trial in 2017 which kind of didn't go so well, because Bitcoin, when you're paying on chain with Bitcoin, it can take up to 10 minutes to clear a transaction. It can have high transaction fees.
Yes.
But now when they were approached 3 years ago, they could say, well, look, there's actually been this new development, Bitcoin Lightning, which is a peer-to-peer network, and it's off-chain. So transactions clear instantly, and they're effectively free, or like a few cents maybe per transaction. So we could use this in a Pick and Pay environment. And then they basically went, okay, cool, what do you have existing? Okay, we have existing QR payment technology. We could actually hook this up to the Bitcoin Lightning QR scanning technology and pair the two. I mean, Carl, funnily enough, was actually also early on at SnapScan. I actually replaced him at SnapScan kind of a few weeks into the project. And he went over to Luno.
Okay.
We were next door to each other in the same incubator at FireID. I mean, understanding of how QR payments work, I guess, was helpful. But I mean, QR payments is actually quite straightforward now in the back end. It's all established technology.
How does the fluctuation of currency work? Because the rand is 1-to-1, right? We like to say Bitcoin is 1-to-1. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, but it does fluctuate, I guess, more than the fiat currency does. If I'm using it day to day, is that something you notice, or does it sort of just become it evens out? Sometimes there's a bit of a discrepancy, or what is that experience like?
So from our perspective, we're giving the user 3 minutes to complete the transaction.
Okay.
And we immediately liquidate the funds into South African rand. So if you go to Pick and Pay, you pay 100 rand. We take the Bitcoin, we liquidate it to South African rand. So, I mean, we have like a 3-minute exposure, and we're not doing massive transactions. So, we also set the exchange rate. So we set it, with a little bit of a conservative estimate, just to make sure that we're not losing money on each transaction.
Yes.
And it also varies per wallet. So we also enable Luno, we also enable Binance, we also enable Valor and Bybit now at Pick and Pay. So you can walk in and scan and pay with any of those wallets as well. And they set the rate in their wallets. So from our perspective, losing out on the fluctuation is like a minimal risk.
Yes.
Because we have a short time window to complete the transaction. If you don't complete the transaction in a time window, you would have to redo the transaction and get a new price estimate for the rand amount.
Yes.
And like I said, we immediately liquidate to rand, and then we settle the merchant in rand. So we're not dealing with that issue at the moment. On the customer side, if I'm holding Bitcoin and I'm spending Bitcoin,
yes.
I mean, it depends. It changes from person to person. Like personally, I put a large amount of my life savings into Bitcoin.
Okay.
Because I was buying and selling over the last 5-10 years.
Yes.
And I was just constantly checking the price, and I was like, what's the point?
Okay.
I believe
just go all in.
Yeah, this has got over a 10-year period. It's got a chance of going up.
Okay.
A good chance of going up a lot, and I'm just going to put my life savings, like a fair portion of my life savings into it.
Okay.
And if it dies, it dies. Whatever. I'm an entrepreneur, so I always start from zero. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
But if it, then I don't have to think about it. Like I put the amount in that I want to put in, and now I'm like sticking to that. And if I spend it, well, I just spend it now, like as cash.
Just go.
I made the investment.
It is. Yeah. That's so you're fully crypto native now. That's just what it is.
I wouldn't say I'm fully crypto native because I am still earning in rand.
Okay.
So I do still have rand incomes.
Okay.
I still have to, for instance, pay my rent with EFT.
Okay.
So
but that brings me sort of to my next point, because how do I know what outlets and what I can buy with Bitcoin? Because like you said, there's still stuff like a bond payment or rent or a car or whatever that we're not there yet. I think we will get there, Bitcoin mortgages and stuff like that. But is there sort of a list I can print out? Is there somewhere I can go? Because I only saw the fuel stations on your LinkedIn. So that's sort of where my head is going.
Yeah, so I mean, if you go to MoneyBadger.co.za, which is our website, you'll see there's a map which I've created, which has about 5,000 locations listed. There's also a directory of stores, which has some of the online stores.
Okay.
So if you go on the website, you click on map, you'll see basically a subset of the stores. Anywhere that you see Peach Payments or Ozo, available as an online checkout, they have both integrated with us, and they have. So if you select Peach Payments, you might see a Bitcoin and crypto option. It's optional for the merchants.
Yes.
So merchants have been told about this and they're activating. It's very easy for a merchant to activate. They literally just say tick a checkbox, and it becomes an option on their payment portal. If someone pays with Bitcoin, they just receive the rand amount from Ozo, and along with their card transactions, along with their instant EFT transactions. So there's those places. There's Zapper. So if you download the Zapper app and you look in the Zapper merchant finder, you'll be able to see places. So there's all these various ways. There isn't yet one place where all the information is.
Maybe there should be. That's just.
I'm trying to build it. It's just difficult.
Use AI.
So
no, but just vibe code it over the weekend. What? No, I'm joking. That's the answer
so
now. It's just vibe code it, man.
So on the map, for instance, I need the locations of the actual stores, and that's not publicly available via like an API. So I had to go on Engine's website, for instance, and go through each listed and then map it and get all the geographic coordinates. And then once I've kind of gone, okay, because Engine accepts via scan to pay and they're live at all locations, I can now add them.
Yes.
There are other chains, for instance, like Vida. Some Vida stores are live with Zapper payments.
Okay.
So I can't put Vida I can't tell you, you can go to any Vida because only some stores are live with Zapper payments. So it's difficult because you don't want to say.
No, I'm fully with you. But is it a question of you guys still having to go out and sign up merchants, or are you finding that they're coming to you, or is it a mix?
So we don't sign up merchants. We sign up payment service providers.
Okay. Interesting.
So we've signed up Zapper, Peach Payments, Ozal. We've integrated with Scan to Pay. And they all have, Zapper has 31,000 businesses registered. Peach has thousands of stores, mostly online stores, and they're now doing physical stores. Ozal has thousands of online stores. Scan to Pay says that they have over 600,000 merchant locations. So they have Clicks, Engine, Shell,
So those will automatically then be activated.
Yeah, so you can just scan any Zapper code with Luno, Valor, Binance, Bybit.
Oh, that's cool.
And pretty much there's a list of Bitcoin Lightning wallets, which now also scan Zapper and Scan to Pay codes. And if your Bitcoin Lightning wallet has not yet integrated the QR code system, so the ones that already work inside the wallets are Aqua, Blink, Layers, Zeus Wallet. And then the ones that don't yet scan the code are Wallet of Satoshi. So I'm blanking out now. It's on our website though.
It's fine.
So the ones that don't yet scan the QR code, then you can download the MoneyBadger app, which is literally just the QR code scanner. It's not a Bitcoin wallet.
Yes.
It doesn't take your information. It literally just scans the Zapper code, scans a pay code, and says, "Oh, okay, let's send you to the Bitcoin wallet you want to use, so Moon or Blink, so you can use it with any Bitcoin Lightning wallet." But some of the Bitcoin Lightning wallets have now integrated that QR scanning ability, so you don't need the MoneyBadger app if you're going to use those wallets.
Okay,
that makes sense.
Yeah, no, makes 100% sense. Tell me, from someone on the inside, what is the uptake in terms of customers actually spending their crypto in South Africa? Is that information that you can see at the back end, or do you see transactions, or what can you see? What can you tell me?
So there's actually, on our side, we can see, and we're quite transparent with our numbers. So we've seen up to 4 million Rand a month being paid via Bitcoin and crypto on our platforms. We've seen about up to 5,000 customers a month using it, or 5,000 transactions a month, rather.
Year to year? Like, what was it last year, or the year before that?
It was around 1 million a year ago. So it's about 200 to 400%.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, it's relatively
small, but it's just, I mean, when you jump from 1 to 4, that's significant.
Yeah, and people are still, the standard response is still, why would I spend my Bitcoin?
Yes.
I bought it as an investment, and I want to see it go to the moon.
Okay, so cool. So what is your answer to that? If someone said, why would I spend my Bitcoin?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. We just know that 5,000 people want to, And I think if you speak to people, you get, I found with SnapScan.
Yeah, sorry.
I was trying to say, what I found with SnapScan is I try to avoid generic statements like, oh, people spend it because, I put a lot of my money into it. And so so I just spend it because that's when I'm spending my savings. Some people are earning Bitcoin.
Yes.
There's a Mossel Bay group that is paying 8-year-old kids to do.
That's a whole. Isn't
what
like
happened is
a Bitcoin town somewhere in the Cape Peninsula?
Yeah. So what happened there is Witsunt has a lot of Bitcoin has moved. A lot of Bitcoin has moved to Witsunt.
Okay.
They wanted to enable the town for Bitcoin payments, so they basically just signed up all the merchants for Bitcoin Lightning payments. So you can sign it, you can go pay. Yeah, they were just excited about it. And, in Mossel Bay, what happened is there's a guy called Herman, and he had a surf school, and he also was a Bitcoin fan. And he thought, let's merge the two. So let's enable tourists to come here and pay for their holiday at my surf camp with Bitcoin. And that that then started bleeding out into the community, and they started actually funding the community to do things to earn Bitcoin. So they for instance, clean up the township. If you clean up your space in the township, you get donated Bitcoin by funders. The kids from the township, if they go to surf lessons, they get an allowance paid out in Bitcoin. And what was really useful with MoneyBadger is when we activated Pick and Pay. So it was a bit weird for the community because they were paying these kids in Bitcoin, and it was like, well, where can I spend it? So they had to sign up shops in the township, and you kind of had to solve these two problems. But when we brought Pick and Pay online, suddenly it was like, okay, kids, you can now go buy your bananas and your bread and stuff at Pick and Pay. So these 8-year-old kids are walking into Pick and Pay and just scanning a QR code and paying with Bitcoin. And it's funny because, I speak to adults, and you have to kind of explain to them how the fiat system is broken, and how, the Fed created the dollar back then. When you've got an 8-year-old kid in the township, you're like, cool, you do your surf lesson, you get your Bitcoin, you go to Pick and Pay, you buy
they just
bananas.
buy in because you don't have to explain anything.
Yeah. And And with the lower end, so it's been funny with the lower end because there was this whole story 15 years ago of, South Africa's unbanked. It's 80% unbanked. And Capitec solved that problem. Capitec basically banked everyone. But the funny thing is, a lot of those people, they got banked so that they could receive their salary, but they just withdraw their salary into cash immediately because they don't trust the bank. Because for those people, you're getting bank fee to go to the bank. I have to get in a taxi, drive to the town, go to the bank, stand in a queue, etc., etc. So when my account gets locked, or when I get a debit order against my account and I don't know about it, or when I get random bank fees against my account, that really sucks. And if it's a 10 Rand off my bank account, that actually impacts me.
Exactly.
So the cool thing about crypto is you don't have these fees, you don't have these debit orders. You have to authorize all payments. So this is actually suited for the lower end because although we at the higher end, but I have to tap to pay is so easy. And it's like, well, at the lower end, you actually want to check the amount before you send it. You want to authorize all payments because you can't afford a 50 Rand coming off your account. That could be 10% of your income for the month.
Yeah, never thought about it like that. So looking ahead for the year, we're almost done with, we're in Q2 already. What do you guys have planned for the year? What's your focus to grow MoneyBadger, or what are you looking at?
That's a great question. We're constantly looking for ways to expand awareness.
Okay.
So we've got, over 600,000 stores signed up now via our payment providers.
Yes.
And more of them are activating with the opt-in.
But it's sort of a what now? But it's sort of a what now, right? We've done it. What now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're working with a few of these merchants who are now, because the integration is live and they can see that it's working for a small amount of customers. Okay. They now want to promote it to their customers. So they want to do in-store promotions, online promotions.
Yes.
And we're working with the wallets as well to promote it to their customers on their side. So, Luno or Binance, for instance, telling their millions of users, you can now go to Pick n Pay, you can now go to Dis-Chem, Clicks, Engine, Shell, all these online stores. One of my favorites is OneCart. So I don't know if you know OneCart, but they're essentially a grocery ordering app.
It rings a bell, but I can't say that I've used it.
So they're a grocery ordering app, and you can basically order from Woolworths, Pick n Pay, Checkers, like Macro, anywhere with OneCart.
Okay.
So that people just don't know. So we just got to get the word out there. Basically.
Yeah.
So basically, getting the merchants to just inform their customers this is now a payment option. But it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation.
Yes.
Because they want to know, how many people are using this? And it's like, they need to see the merchants pushing this before they trust it.
It's sort of like applying for a bond and convincing the bank that you don't need the money. It's like, why else? Why am I here? I can show you X, Y, and Z, but you're effectively asking me to persuade you that I don't need it.
Yeah.
So that's basically. Final question before I let you go. Are you locked into agreements? Because you mentioned Pick n Pay, but what about retail shops like Checkers or Woolworths? Is that in the pipeline or what?
So we do actually have a proof of concept live with Checkers at the moment. You can essentially buy ShopRite vouchers on the website. And then you can go and spend those ShopRite vouchers in the Checkers store. And we're working towards having they do have scan to pay in their stores, but it's not active for Bitcoin payments yet.
Yes.
So we're working towards the point where you can just walk in and scan the same as you can at Pick n Pay.
Okay. Because they've got that whole Checkers 60 thing as well, where I think that's very low friction for. So
you can use Checkers 6060.
Yes.
It's a little bit of a process. Okay. So like I said, you need to get a ShopRite account.
Voucher.
And then you can essentially buy ShopRite vouchers. And then you can spend those ShopRite vouchers on Checkers 6060 using your extra savings card.
Okay.
So if you just load your extra savings card. So now what I do when I want to use Checkers 6060, I go to our website where we can where you can buy vouchers with crypto or with Bitcoin rather. And that immediately goes onto my extra savings card. So I buy vouchers on the one side, then I go to check a 66-hour order and I pay with my extra savings. It's actually quite seamless once you've got it set up.
But I'm assuming that will also change as things get adopted and stuff. I mean, things really stay like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely integrate it just more directly over time. The other option is you can just download the One Card app and you can pay with Bitcoin when you make your payment. So One Card, you can order from Checkers, Pick and Pay, Woolworths, Game, Macro. I mean, One Card is really like quite a cool service. It's basically Checkers 60, but for
everything. And I think that's why you touched on it, just getting the information out, because these days it's so hard getting a signal out through all the noise, because you've got so much geopolitical stuff going on, not only in this country but abroad, and getting like info out to people, it's hard. But good luck with that. I'm going to check you guys and keep a tab on what it is that you're doing. If the people want to go and connect with you and or MoneyBadger and check out what it is that you guys do and maybe get involved, where can they find you?
So you can just email me, ben@moneybadger.co.za. You can go check out our website, moneybadger.co.za. We also have a Signal chat group, which you can join. There's like a few hundred people in there just basically excited about this as a movement, as a thing.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm Ben Blaine X with an X at the end.
Yes.
BenBlainex on Twitter. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Enough. That's enough. And go and look for Ben on LinkedIn as well. Posts on LinkedIn as well. But we'll drop all the links in the comments here somewhere. Thank you so much.
I want to share one thing.
Yeah,
if you don't mind. So I think right now we're certainly in the like early evangelist stage of this. And I think the main reason why you should be spending Bitcoin as a Bitcoin enthusiast or as a Bitcoin investor is because when you pay, you can tell someone, I'm paying with Bitcoin.
Yes. Yeah, and it's word of mouth.
It completely changes the perception of Bitcoin in the public.
Yes.
From it's this weird thing that people put their money into to they're actually using it as money, which is what it was intended as.
Yes.
And I think that if every single Bitcoiner actually committed to spending Bitcoin and telling people, look, I'm spending Bitcoin, this is how it works, and giving them 10 rands worth of Bitcoin on a Lightning wallet, I mean, inevitably the price would go up because that's the best way to virally grow.
Maybe that should be incentivized somehow.
Luna is giving you 10% cash back. Binance is giving 50% cash back. So there are incentives in place.
But these things just need to get pumped out into the public again, because I don't know how many people know about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing of like, you need to get the coffee and then get told, okay, and you actually have to pay for this coffee with Bitcoin. Something like that.
There we go. Ben, thank you so much for joining me. And to our listeners,
thanks.
Peace, love, and prosperity. We'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.
Baby, you got snake eyes. Baby, you got snake eyes. Still, I let it ride, baby. You're my lucky charm, standing at my side. Come stand beside me. Make me your pocket rocket. Don't you ever stop it. You play it low, but I can read the tension. Every move is one decision off. You don't fall, but you don't show intention. You just wait until the moment drops. I don't need a perfect situation. I don't need a guarantee. There's a pull and a hesitation, and it's pulling you to me. Don't hold back, don't delay. Let it land, let it play. Make me. Baby, you got snake eyes, but I still roll twice, baby. You're my lucky charm, cutting through the noise. Come stand beside rock it. Watch the way you lock it all in, no hesitation, no safe calculation. We don't play to save it, we play to break it. Don't think, just let it fall.